Because you didn't see the freaking Your Name Easter eggs, did you?
Maybe not. So let's think here. On this week,
Of month's Koto of Shinkai.
we drown everyone in Japan.
We?
Maybe.
Hold on. Cut the cameras.
Wait.
No, not we. Just him.
It might be climate change, or it might be the feisty heat of teenage love. But we will figure it out on this episode of You Don't Love Giant Robots, baby.
All right.
We're talking weathering with you.
Weathering with you. Falling in love. Running from the cops with you. Getting warrants out for our arrest with you. Whatever you got to do.
Pulling out the gat.
Pulling out the blicky.
When you need to. When it's time.
Gotta know when to pull out the blicky and know when to pull out the Bible. That's facts.
So, we're doing Weathering with You in our penultimate episode of the month Koto of Shinkai. Don't even say it. So, Zeke, here we are.
Here we are. Unfortunately.
So, like, as a spoiler-free, top-down overview.
Okay. If you've ever seen...
yeah.
If you've ever seen Castle in the Sky, this is pretty...
We can't assume they have.
Oh, well, never mind. If you're stupid and you haven't seen Castle in the Sky, let me explain it.
A boy falls in love with a girl.
That's magical.
That seems to have magic powers that come with a grave consequence.
That's actually a really consistent storyline through a lot of anime, though, when you think about it. If you really...
Yeah, the woman paying the price.
Because I thought of like 3 as soon as you said that. I was like, ooh.
I mean, in this series alone, you see a lot of...
Hey, bro, this nigga Shinkai's like, these women must pay.
These women are paying the price for these men's mistakes often.
Oh, my gosh. It's just like real life.
So, Weathering with You. I saw this one in theaters.
I saw this one 2 weeks ago.
This is my second viewing, watching it.
Really?
Actually, I think this was my third viewing.
And you still didn't see the Your Name Easter eggs?
I wasn't looking for them.
I wasn't either, but it's pretty hard to miss. Especially because we just watched Your Name. Like, so you remember the grandma?
Yeah.
The literal family name is that dude's name, and he's the dude that's talking to them when they're doing the Sundance in her backyard.
Oh, well, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. The Sundance.
Yeah, right. Okay, so
we open with our little boy, Hidoka.
He's like 15.
He's a 15-year-old little street urchin fuckface runaway.
Broke out of his mind, looking for a job. Can't get a job because they're like, do you have some ID? I could see. He's like,
Grew up in a small town, in a 2-horse town in countryside Japan.
Now, if this was California, he'd get a job tomorrow.
And he was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. Fuck this.
I don't really like his motivations. They seem a little like vapid, I guess.
What?
Look, every and the reason you're saying this, Nick, is because you know why. Because you're him. That's why you're so attached to this particular storyline. I think it's such a common thing for teenagers to be like, oh, I hate my hometown. I want to leave. Every teenager feels that way, right? I don't really think that.
Yeah, bro.
I don't really think
you're
that's...
a lesbian standing on the bridge smoking a cigarette with another woman saying, we're gonna get the fuck out of here.
Talking about Nana.
I'm just saying.
No, but I understand it, but I don't know if it's too realistic, especially to the extent that it went to. Like, it could happen, but I was just like,
Oh, yeah. No. If you go to L.A., you'll find 100 kids like this.
Well, L.A.'s different.
Tokyo's the L.A. of Japan.
I had to see it to believe it.
Yeah, dude, when I was out in L.A., I remember encountering, like, kids who were like, "What?" It's like, "Why'd you move here?" And it's like, "Because I want to be a magician." And you'd be like, "Oh, all right." I mean, like, yeah,
but LA is on the extreme side of the spectrum as far as it comes to like people and the things that they do.
But Tokyo, I think, it's got to be the most.
I don't know. The thing is, I've never been. I don't know anybody that lives there, so it'd be kind of like.
So Hidoka's like, fuck my little town. I need to go to where the action's happening.
Which is literally my co-host, Nick. That is him. That's why he probably likes this movie the most out of all the Shinkai movies.
Oh, I have stuff to say. So he moves to Tokyo. He's eating McDonald's.
Is he, though?
Man.
He can't afford the McDonald's. And he's sitting there, stomach growling. He's like, I'm about to die. Then some angel comes out of nowhere, just gives him a free Big Mac meal. He's like, I don't have money for this. She's like, oh, you're good. You're good, homeboy. You good in my hood. daps him up. She walks out.
And that's when you're that age. That is all it takes. Like you
that age. That's all it takes now, Nick. What are you talking about?
You're getting you're getting lulled into the
getting lulled into the white van with just some McDonald's. Like, say less.
Got a fish fillet with your name on it, man.
Fish fillet? Nah. I'll never eat the fish fillet from McDonald's. That's how you end up fighting for your life the next day.
But yeah, he's eating at this extensively drawn McDonald's. We could talk about how pretty this McDonald's, because people saw last year that McDonald's anime ad. And I think for a lot of people last year, they were like, "Oh my god!" And
why don't the American McDonald's ads look like this?
And all of us real ones, we were like, "I've been seen high res McDonald's."
You ever seen the Girl Who Leapt Through Time? That McDonald's scene is heat.
Yo, Japan has a weird relationship with McDonald's,
but their McDonald's menus are also really freaking dope.
Oh, so you'll say I've never been to Japan on them things, but then you'll say their menus are dope.
I've seen videos and I've seen people talk about this.
No, I haven't
heard people talk about the culture of Japan because it's not something I've looked into. That's why I'm like, I'm not gonna clandestinely say like Japan is like this for sure. Like I don't know, it could be.
I've heard the French fries feel smarter and somehow more respectful.
It's got to be racist. Ain't no way.
Is it? I don't know.
Ain't no way.
But I actually, if that is racist,
on the first day of Black History Month, you believe this guy?
I get
crazy.
So, yeah, this girl gets him a cheeseburger, and he's like, "But I'm just a little street urchin," and she's like, "Hey, little street urchin, I'm Hina."
I don't think she says her name yet. I think he. Yeah, they don't give each other's names yet.
No, they don't.
That happens later on.
He says, "Kimi no nawa."
And she's like, "I hated that movie. Get out of my face."
6.7 on Letterboxd, she says.
So after this, he goes outside and is like wandering around for a bit, and then he stumbles upon a trash can. And what does he find in the trash can? A gun. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
And initially, he's like, "Oh, this can't be a real gun. This is probably just a toy." Because in Japan, they don't have to do the whole orange thing around the toy guns.
Yeah.
Because nobody has guns there. So he just assumed it was a toy. He was like, "Oh, I'll just put it in my bag. It might be real, though." That's how that happened. That's going to show up again. That's an important plot.
It's a Chekhov's gun, some might say. But, the gun, it got there because, like, what? Some guy was
in trouble.
Some guy got in trouble for heckling, like, a prostitute.
It was something. It was some type of terrorist group of some sort doing something crazy. Because the cops literally talked about it. He's like, "Oh, he found what's-his-face's gun. Probably that's who it was. It matches the description." Because they were talking about it when they were asking.
It was a terrorist group? I thought it was like a Yakuza guy. Like a
crime
guy working like a strip club.
I don't remember the specific. Oh, that's the dude he shot at in that scene where he was beating him up.
Yeah.
Then he hit the light post.
Okay, yeah. But anyway, due to some Yakuza strip club happenstance that occurs at a different time, this gun has wound up in a trash can.
Yes. As they do.
And as they fucking
as
do.
They do.
This happens. This happens to everyone.
Yeah, it happened to me last week.
Yeah. And so he finds the gun. And he's, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Just pick up the blicky and run.
Also during this period of time, Tokyo has been experiencing some weird weather.
Weird weather.
It's been rainy. And people are down in the dumps.
That's so real.
And you know what? We don't know if it's not raining in other parts of the world, but we know that in Tokyo, it's been bad.
Weathering through it.
Yo, they're dealing with it. They're wet boys over there. They're all moist.
They're wet boys. They walk outside.
They're all stepping in kitty litter and sawdust.
Kitty litter and sawdust?
Kitty litter, you gotta lay that shit down, bro. You gotta suck up.
You
don't want black mold in these walls.
After he finds the gun, right, he goes to find another job.
He's like applying on Japanese Craigslist sort of thing.
And then he meets some person for something else. It wasn't for a job, it was for something else, but they end up hiring him anyways.
The guy he meets is like a publisher, right? Like a printing.
Yeah.
He runs like a printing publishing
for weird stories and like not occult stuff, but more of like folklore.
Yeah.
And
Sasquatch and
yeah.
Loch Ness Monster.
And he ends up like interning for them and like transcribing their interviews and stuff like that. And that's a job he does for a few months.
He's like, hey, little boy, you want to learn about Wendigos? You know, I love Wendigos.
Yeah. And then you have the you know, the good old Shinkai montage of them just living life, you know, cooking food, really good looking food. I'll tell you that.
Yo, the art, we should just get it out of the way now. The art in this one is like, it's offensively pretty. It's very much
it's like sitting in your face, punching you in the throat as you're watching it.
It's almost too much, and I mean that in the sense that it's kind of hard to almost tell what are like the pretty scenes
because they all look pretty,
with the exception of like a handful of moments. Like it's like, all right, whenever the
the
gravity gets turned off, I can assume we're in.
It's like the Sakuya moment in most anime, but that's like the whole movie.
It's just everything.
I think it sucks. Yeah.
You subconsciously kind of learn to start to look, you know, like Flintstone style. When you're watching like an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon, you'll see like if there's a book on the bookcase shelf, because they have to paint that book to be mobile, it has to be a static. Or that has
you
to be
can definitely tell the difference between each of them.
Yeah, you're like, that book is gonna move because it's a little bit more purple than all the other books and stuff. And with anime, it's like the same thing. Like a character's hair will be like hard and stuff, but then there will be like a moment when you'll see their hair start blowing in the wind, and you're like, "Oh, buckle up!
It's about to get crazy.
Let me fucking strap in because I'm about to feel the G-forces." And
so, after this
movie, it's very, very difficult to tell when it's trying to be pretty, actually. And I would say,
really,
well, I'm saying this movie is very pretty, but it's almost like
there's no scenes that stand out because the whole thing looks beautiful.
Yeah, every single like expansive shot of Tokyo is like, look at all these lit billboards and the mist and the fog.
It's like if you go to a place and everybody in that place is attractive, so you can't really tell who's attractive. It's like you all just look like normal people now.
Yeah. You're trying to find like someone at the fucking supermodel contest, and you're just like, all these people have like the same face.
Yeah,
they have like the same face.
So I will say that it was a beautiful movie. I don't think it took away from it because I'm not really like a big like graphics person, anyways.
I don't think it took away, but it just. I could have dealt with some of the innocuous background scenes being a little less pretty for some, if it gave us like if you put that budget somewhere else, you know, like
But I don't know. I think the animation was good. I didn't really have any like glaring issues with any of it. I thought it was really pretty, but the whole film was pretty. So it's like it's kind of hard to see what scenes stand out. There are a few that stand out, but not because of the animation, because of the story. And maybe that's a good thing. Like maybe it's a good thing that the animation was so good that the important moments you don't base on animation, you base on like how important it was to the story.
You know what? Maybe you guys. I have some.
Because I was thinking that out as I was saying it.
More than when I first watched this film, and I will say, when I went into this film the first time, I was carrying a heavy karmic debt. My ancestors were very disappointed. They're like, "You're comparing this to Your Name too much. You're not judging this film on its own. Like you're not seeing what this movie is trying to do."
You gotta watch a really bad movie to clear your palate before you watch this movie.
Because the first time I watched this movie, I did come out of it thinking like, you know, it was okay. And now on the second watch, I'm like,
I think it was a great movie.
I'm like, this is Shinkai's repudiation of most of his critics.
Well, I mean, it was a slightly different story.
Well, we can get it.
I guess a couple kind of but. Where were we at?
He found the gun. It's raining in Tokyo all the time.
The montage of him working for the people. Shortly after that montage, he's walking around for a different job, and he meets... Who does he meet? Hidaka. What is her name?
Hina.
Hina
Amano.
Hina Amano. Again. And this is where the mafia dude shows up, and it's like they're putting her into the club, but apparently she's going to work there. But that's a different thing. Like he doesn't know this at the time, so he's like, "Hey, leave her alone. Get your hands off her." They start fighting. He's getting his butt whooped. He's getting mollywopped. Piecing this nigga up.
He's got nothing. He's got nothing in the tank.
You're seeing like how well they animating the punch go straight to his jaw. He's on the ground. He's getting wailed on. You know what he does? He does what anybody would do. He pulls out a gun. That's what he pulls out a gun. He's like, "Let me go," and then he was like, "That's not a real gun," until he shoots it, and it's like silence. Everybody's like, what the heck? Because, like, unlike America and most other countries, guns aren't very common.
Yeah, one of my old roommates was Japanese, and, like, I remember he was telling me, he's like, that was probably the first time any of those people had ever heard a gun go off in their lives.
Yeah.
that shot. Like, even people who have guns, it's like you don't really
use it.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, so
you
could tell that in the scene because everybody was just like in America, somebody would be like, "Ooh, a gun," and they just run. They wouldn't just kind of sit there like, "Let me wait for him to shoot again."
Honestly, the big mistake that Hidoka makes is he should have pulled the strap out at the beginning of the fight.
He'd be like, "Hey,
should have been like, get on the
hey."
ground, motherfucker. You gonna get in the booth and start kissing the men for money now?
What?
That's what's going on now.
Hold on.
I'm running this joint.
Wait a minute. I don't know what anime he's talking about.
I'm talking about Goku dolls.
Oh my gosh. So then after that happens, they run away from the gangster people and they're kind of just struck. And then they exchange names when they're in that like abandoned building. And she's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Oh, my name is Hidoka." He's like, "Oh, what's your name?" "My name is Hina." And he's like, "Oh my goodness." And then like you could tell this nigga sprung immediately as he sees her again. But he's like, "Dang, bro, it's really bad."
It's like a bolt of lightning hit the tip of my penis.
What? I don't think that's how it's supposed to feel. You might need to get that checked out. I would get that checked out.
And you know what? She prayed for that bolt of lightning. But yeah, so he starts like they start waxing poetic about like, man, it's always raining, and you know no one ever sees the sunshine anymore.
And then you see it for the first time.
The tractor beam comes down on him.
She clasps her hands, looks to the sky, looks to the heavens,
right,
and prays.
She fucking
and the weather is gone. The weathering with you has ended. This has truly been my weathering with you. Favorite line of the movie.
She hits the Kanye, and you hear ultralight beams start playing, and that fucking light comes down, and like most anime, people are way too unimpressed with magic. Like,
nah, I'm gonna be honest with you, Nick. It might be because we're black. I'm gonna keep it real, because there is a stereotype where it's like black people will just freak out about magic, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a little true.
Dog, if I saw a guy levitate like an apple in front of me,
I'd go crazy too.
I would lose my. I'd be like, wait,
what the?
If telepathy's real, then that means some people have it and they've been hiding it. Like it would shatter.
Like someone can blow my brain up with just
it would shake the way I'd be like, maybe 10% of basketball players are telepathic and we don't like. I would be thinking like crazy shit.
I don't know. I mean,
it would start to fuck with me. And the point is, once you have like proof positive of the existence of magic. Mm-hmm. The circumstances surrounding it as an individual thing almost don't matter anymore.
Maybe it's like, I think the difference is, because I would probably be like, oh, that's crazy, but I wouldn't let it like destroy my entire worldview, because it's like that's pretty much what you said. How I view things is like, I don't believe I know anything about any one subject, whether that be what we see in reality or the things that we believe to be like possible. So it's like, I wouldn't be like not surprised, but I'd be like, okay, this is new information. This is interesting. Like, if you think about it like this, when niggas discovered fire, they're probably like, what the heck is going on? Everything is different. And it's like, stuff like that happens all the time in humanity, because we're a pretty stupid species, realistically thinking about it.
Yeah, but if a girl like consistently could pray for things to happen and they happen, on a fundamental level, I would think it was so messed up that she can do that and I can't, that I'd put that gun in my mouth and pull the trigger.
You're just jealous.
No, it's something.
You were like, yeah, she can do this thing and I can't. I'm gonna kill myself. Why is killing yourself the first instinct you have?
It's something, I can't think of what it is, but it's more noble than that.
It can't. There's no other. How do you make that sound noble? You're like, she's doing this thing, I can't do it. It makes me so mad. I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah, what? It's very frustrating to imagine that women have special powers that we don't have. Like, I don't want to live in that world. I don't know about you.
Wait, hold on. I want you to say that phrase again really slow.
Other than making babies and milk and like stuff like that. But like, if
Nick sees a woman give birth, he's like, there's no way.
No, like on its face, it's like the woman's like, I can shoot eggs, and I'm like, I can shoot jizz, and then she's like, what? I can also control the weather, and I just be like, that's not fair. That's not fucking fair.
Sometimes life isn't fair.
That's not fundamental. Like,
sometimes, Nick, life isn't fair.
You're telling me that there's like hierarchies in this realm, and I was born on one of the lower ones? Like, if I don't have latent weather powers, then this is a wash, and whoever put us here has some answering to do. To me. And that's why I'm going to meet them with.
I think that's a crazy criteria where it's like honest question. If you saw a nigga just have some magic powers, you would like kill yourself. You'd be like, this is ridiculous.
No.
I have to kill myself. I have to end it right now. I have to get this question. Boom. Like you wouldn't even want to be like, how'd you get the power?
You would hear my tires
here's the thing.
out of the driveway.
No, because you wouldn't even be like, you wouldn't even be like, hey, little bro, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? I try to figure it out. I'd be like, what's going on here?
Bro, you'd see my girlfriend wearing a top hat and playing on a piano as I lay myself down on some train tracks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but she prays and the weather goes away and he realizes, well, this is cool. And then he starts asking, what's the girl's name at the place he works?
Natsumi?
He starts asking Natsumi, like, hey, have you ever heard of this one thing where like people can control the weather? She's like, oh, this is Sunshine Girl. And he starts looking really deep into the Sunshine Girl lore, and he's like, there's not that much known about it.
He's gone. He's like reading, but he's like, 100% Sunshine Girl.
And then he hits up old girl. He's like, hey, yo, we can do something strange for a little change. We could charge people to get rid of the rain.
This is easily the most fucking
it's the most capitalist 16-year-old I've ever seen in my life.
This is another thing we need to touch on. Hidoka's 16. Mm-hmm. When he meets Hina, she says she's 17.
Mm-hmm. They're the same age. Or they're both 15. They're both 15. But she says she's 18.
She says she's older than she is. Mm-hmm. But she's younger than him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say that because this is the most fucking 15-year-old aspect.
Lying about your age to seem cooler?
No, just like I can control the weather, and it's like have you seen Diamond is Unbreakable?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How Josuke's like this, where it's like, Josuke, you have the power to like disassemble and reassemble matter, and it's like, yeah, and if we can trick Rohan Kishibe, I can make like $50.
No, that's a real nigga though.
And this shit's the same thing. It's like, so you're telling me that you have a direct line of communication to like to Poseidon, and it's like, yeah, and it's like we could have like an Xbox, maybe 2 Xboxes.
That is a very 15-year-old thing to think. But I thought it was interesting because in my head, right, I don't really understand why he wanted to make more money. I think he was kind of using that as more of a ploy.
Because he's fucking eating trash and can't afford McDonald's.
Right, but I think, he has a job now, but I think the reason that he did that, like the impetus of it, was the fact that he was kind of in love with this girl, and it gave him an excuse to hang out with her like all the time.
Dude, if I can hang out if I'm 15, I'm homeless in a city, and I meet a girl who's making me burgers and whatnot, and I found out she's a magical priestess. And she and I can be making I don't even need to be dating her to be like, you know what, this is probably better than like what I had going on. This is a
magical girl that creates burgers.
This is a market improvement from where I'm coming from, you know, me stealing people's french fries out of McDonald's type shit.
Yeah.
Like, and so in the flighty, stupid way that kids just kind of like do stuff where it's like, what's going on? And it's like, well, we were skateboarding behind the mall, and then we found a paintball gun, and then we thought it'd be cool to try to like get in shopping carts and shoot at each other with the paintball gun. But then Derek got hit in the eye. So here's the thing for his surgery.
So here's the thing, right? Maybe it wasn't like a conscious decision that he made, but in my head, I was like, I feel like he's doing this because he wants to get closer to her. That was what I was getting from it.
You want to get close. When you're this age, you want to get closer to everybody, man. You're trying to...
That's not true.
Yeah, he's talking to Suga. He's talking to Natsumi. He's like, anyone who will hear my shtick, my little fucking 15-year-old boy shtick. He's like, you want to hear what I think about like Israel and Palestine? And
you know, Nick, I think
you're fucking 15. Kid.
I think you relate to this character a little too heavily.
Well, I'm just saying, when you're this age, you're on your stupid teenage shit. And you are trying to like figure out the world, and especially if you're the type of person who's like, I need to figure out what's going on out there. You're talking to everyone. You're meeting almost anyone you can.
I guess that's I kind of remember that. It was,
which is think of even how he gets his job.
I don't think this is that instance, right? Like even under the reasons that he left his hometown, I hated here. So boring. Like that. I don't think that wanting to gain knowledge about what's going on is what drives him. I think it's a running from being bored and just being solidly still. He's like a shark, because sharks have this thing where they have to keep moving or they die. And I think he's the same way, where it's like he has to be constantly doing something or he's gonna like. He feels like he's gonna die. You know what I mean? I think that's more what motivates him than being like, I want to connect with everyone and talk to a bunch of people. Like, if you really think about it,
when we get to the end of this movie, I will explain why I think I understand Hidoka. But
because you are him.
Because you've got to be chaos maxing your life, bro. Nah. And that's the thing. Think of how Hidoka even got this job. He's like, I met some dude who hired me to work at his publishing company. Now I'm staying with him and his niece. Like, everything about Hidoka's life is he's on Jim Carrey yes man mode. He's like cruising. If someone came up to him and they were like, dude, do you want to be like do you want to be an offshore oil roustabout or whatever? Do you want to go like work on this oil platform? He would have been like, hell yeah. And they're like, you need to take this like underwater deep sea welding class. And you'd be like, hell yeah. Like, he's just a very
I don't know. I'll wait till we get to the end to make my decision, because I don't agree, but I'd be inclined to change my mind.
And then they start the Sunshine Girl business.
They start making bank.
This is probably the least relatable part of the film, where you're like, this premise is crazy. Like, you live in a perpetually rainy Tokyo, and the only way to get sun is to like have a little girl pray for it, and it comes, and everyone's just like, thanks for the sunshine.
So quick thing, as they're going through having this whole Sunshine Girl montage, Makoto Shinkai loves freaking montages with like Yasobi in the background.
Yeah.
You meet a grandmother that has a similar last name as a character from a previous movie. Your name. This is his grandma. The dude, I forget his name, because it had his family name when you walk into the house, like it has it there. And then it says it. I'm like, that name sounds familiar. Then you see him walk up. Like, you literally see the dude walk up, and he talks to them, has a whole conversation with them.
Oh, shit, it was that guy.
Yeah. And then you remember when old boy was getting the ring?
Yeah.
You know who was selling it to him? She had a red bracelet on.
Oh, okay.
I peeped that stuff immediately, because I was like, I wonder what the Easter egg's going to be. And I was like, oh, they're literally just in the movie.
Neat.
Neato indeed.
But, God, the Sunshine Girl business. I can't get over this aspect of it, because they're like interacting with real people. This is like not like this is a cute little like lemonade
people are like, no, I'm taking this serious. Sunshine Girl saving lives.
There are farmers who are writing this Sunshine Girl transaction off on their taxes. Like, it's the idea that you tell your honey, what was that? And it's like, oh, I just paid a 15-year-old girl to pray in our front yard so the corn will grow this summer so that we can afford to like actually sell this house and move next. And it's like the idea of someone saying that to their wife. There's like, you paid a what?
I think it depends. I think it depends. Right?
But this is a quasi-magical movie, because people are clearly like,
well,
Sunshine
even down
Girls have existed.
Right, even down to the lore and like the whole temple that we saw in a few scenes ahead.
So this is like an alternate reality where Sunshine Girls are.
And people switching bodies. It's just a normal thing.
Yeah. I mean, people are like, ever since that comet, the Sunshine Girls is
going crazy.
Right?
Yeah, so I think after this point, you start to get to a point in the movie where it's like the amount of publicity she's getting and the amount of stuff going on is starting to get more and more. And then she eventually does the one job where she's on the skyscraper, and then like they're recording her off the helicopter. Then the rain literally stops. There's just a peak of sunshine just hits her. And then the Sunshine Girl site just gets flooded with freaking stuff. And then her and Hidoka, they're like, you know what? This is going to be like, we're going to do like 2 more jobs, and then we're done. We're getting out of here. Right?
I'm assembling a team.
One last job. Right. And the last job they end up doing is for that grandma. And then they get like another job from his boss, because his boss and his niece, they're starting to get like a little suspicious, like, the Sunshine Girl business is kind of crazy, because they end up visiting a temple having to do with the Sunshine Girl, explaining the lore and explaining what the consequences of that are. And
this is an important time to explain that his boss, Kisuke, is embroiled in a heated dispute
battle
with his wife over custody.
No, his wife died.
Or not his wife.
It's his mother-in-law?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do we know why Kisuke lost custody? Was it because he was a bum?
Yeah, he was drinking, smoking a lot.
Yeah. Jerking off too much.
What?
That's what was on the legal form. They just said.
I don't think that was on the legal form.
Like, that towel was crunchy, bro.
Maybe on your legal form, Nick. I don't think that was on this legal form.
put that crunchy towel in evidence. But
Oh my god, that's probably something that's been said before too.
yeah, so Kisuke, though, he's like, yeah, I wanted to have a sunny day for me and my daughter because I might not get a chance to see her. Because this court, I don't know how Japanese custody court goes down.
Probably just about as bad as America.
But the idea of 3-4 people yelling at me in Japanese and then someone taking my kid away is like very traumatizing. As an American, I don't want that to ever happen to me. I don't know what it's like for Japanese people going through that.
I don't know.
A bunch of Americans yell at you and take your kid away? That'd be weird.
That sucks enough as it is.
That'd be weird. It's like, why are you guys here? How do you have jurisdiction here?
I mean, it happens a lot.
Right. That was what Pearl Harbor was over, was they kept snatching the kids up.
What? I don't think...
They were like, you...
I'm inclined to believe that's not what started that.
They were like, you Americans are creating a hostile environment to raise these children, and their school attendance is terrible, and they kept taking those kids away, and then we were like, enough is enough. You're posting about us on Facebook. You're making us look like bad members of the community.
This rant has been brought to you by Nick being off his meds.
And then,
oh my god! I think the funniest part of that whole scene is Hadoka sees his boss. He's like, "What the? No, that ain't who I think it is." He's like, "What are you doing here?" And he ends up realizing that's who his job is for. But the ulterior motive behind them doing this was because his boss. So is it Sume or something like that? Kisuke. His boss Kisuke's niece. Natsume wanted to talk to Hina about the consequences of being the sunshine girl, and they kind of have a conversation on the bench while Kisuke and Hidoka are kind of like playing with the daughter, and she kind of shows her something. She's like,
you know what happens to sunshine girls?
She's like, I know, and then she pulls her shirt down. Her arm is gone. Her arm is lost, nigga. I'm like, oh, they took her arm.
Yo, and this is when it starts to get weird. So our boy Hadoka's in love at this point. He's in that fucking stupid 15 cum-brain love.
I think like a few scenes before the sunshine scene is a scene where he got the ring from the girl from Your Name.
And he sees her every time. He's at that, that like wistful stage where every time you see your girl with the sun behind her head, you're just like, oh, jeez, just look. I would empty my bank.
You say
account.
jeez?
Oh, jeepers.
Oh, gee willikers.
I would just go $5,000 in debt over her.
That's so real, though.
Right? You're dumb. Just like stupid 15-year-old cum brain. But he's in love. And this is where I started to, like, realize how much more I liked this movie than I thought I did.
Well, before we get to that, are we going to talk about the scene that happens in the temple where the old man is talking? Because I feel like you have some strong thoughts about that. Okay,
yeah, let's get into the temple scene. Old man comes. He explains how the shrine gates work, right?
Mm-hmm. And then he talks about how the weather kind of just gets like this and it goes in cycles.
Yeah, when I first watched this movie, I started to wonder, I was like, are these Shinkai's thoughts on climate change? It's like, oh yeah, glaciers are melting, oceans rise, but times change.
I mean, I think there is a lot of evidence that kind of supports that. There's been ice ages, there's been like warm ages. It's not to say that human interaction hasn't been like exacerbating all these issues, but it's not like an inaccurate thing, I will say, but it's not the most accurate. If that makes
there's definitely ages and stuff, but this was a bad time to be making me question global warming.
Nah, it's never a bad time.
No, not now. I'm not questioning it now, but when I was watching this movie,
I question it all the time.
I was like, I still had my Greta Thunberg potty pillow.
I freaking dude, oh my god!
And I was like, oh,
look, you want to hold on, off topic. You want to talk about a Swedish person that actually cares about what's going on with the planet? Boy and Slut, way cooler than Greta Thunberg.
Right, we've talked about this. I think
we talked about Boy and Slut.
No, but we talked about hating on Greta Thunberg.
Bro, like, what has she really done aside from complaining for 3 years? Boy and Slat from the same country, at the same age, was like, man, I hate what's going on with the planet. Creates a company to create machines that clean up the ocean and clean up these river tributaries. And they're going crazy right now.
Yeah. Oh wait, is he the Mr. Garbage Bot guy?
No,
because there's Big Ocean Cleanup, the Big Ocean Cleanup that's trying to turn all the ocean plastic into like sunglasses and stuff. Yeah. That is a scam.
Well, so Boy and Slat's,
but it's like there's like 3 Big Ocean Cleanup.
Boy and Slat's cleanup stuff is actually pretty legit, and two of his machines were in a Mr. Beast video.
Okay, yeah. So because it's like there's like 3 or 4 big ocean cleanup projects, and it's like one of them is a scam, and I can never quite remember.
I know what you're thinking about, but Boy and Slat,
one of them is a scam.
Boy and Slat is legit. He's been on Joe Rogan a few times.
But then like the Mr. Cleanup bots, like the ones that they dump in like the Baltimore River and stuff, those things are legit. Yeah. Those things are like where it diverts
the big one, the huge ginormous ones.
Yeah, it's like a big net and it divert. You know, it's
like as big as a boat.
Yeah, this is yeah.
Okay, that's him. That's
him.
Like it's called The Ocean Cleanup on Instagram.
Well, this isn't the podcast.
This isn't. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I freak. I'm a big fan of Boy and Slat, so I had to just put that in there.
But yeah, so Hidaka though, he's falling in love with this girl, and so the Shrine Gate. Yes, we're learning that there's always cycles of Earth. And there's what is it? There's like a rain god who every now and then just needs like
a sacrifice.
Basically a sacrifice. I mean, and we haven't tried sacrificing a dude. Like maybe that would work. We've just done chicks up till now.
They cost less.
I mean,
dudes cost less.
You don't want to maybe a dude will make the rain god angry. You know,
yeah.
He clearly likes we used a woman the first time and it worked, and we just, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Centuries of sacrificing sunshine girls, all led to this. So then after,
and you know what's funny is we have been sacrificing women for thousands.
People have been sacrificing children, whether they be women or men, for thousands of years.
I know, but like, I don't want to say more. More men have probably died violently, but a lot of women have been sacrificed.
You know about what they used to do in like Babylon, and then the people who were worshiping Baal did the same things. They were just sacrificing children, no matter if they were men or women.
We used to
sacrificing kids. I think kids is probably a better label. It's like we've been sacrificing children for a long time.
We used to torch.
This is gonna sound so crazy.
We would declare a woman a witch and torch her. Like we'd be like, let us hope that the good Lord makes this PB&J extra yummy.
Well, I mean, women weren't the only victims of the Salem witch trials as you're talking about. I think there were. I mean, it was probably mostly, but it was pretty good mix.
I read the Crucible.
There was people like if you had like a mole in a weird spot, they were like, oh, he's a warlock. Get him out of here,
bro. I felt up Goody Proctor. All right.
What do you mean you felt? What do you? You know what? Don't explain it. Don't explain it. We're moving on. So after this scene, we get to a scene where he's talking to the girl and he's like stressing over giving her the ring. Then all of a sudden, she just gets sucked into the sky. She's like, ah!
Yo, this keeps happening in this movie. People get hit with the tractor beam like 4 fucking times. And
then you see that she's missing arms. You're like, what the? Hey, yo, what happened? She's like, yeah, I think I've been, going too crazy. And he's like, okay, we got to figure this out. And then when they're at the house, what happens next? You hear hey, have you seen this? You seen this kid?
Oh, this is the worst. The worst. Yeah, because she reveals, she gets naked, and he's like, whoa, you're getting naked. And she's like, I'm made of water, nigga. All right? Chill. And because she's very much, she's like, Hidaka, I need to show you something. And then she's like, and he's just like, what? He turns into a cartoon wolf and then blows his brains out.
What is it with you and blowing brains out? It's all episode.
It's a Tex Avery thing, man. It's the peak of excitement in old Tex Avery droopy dog comedy was pulling out a pistol and shooting yourself in the head.
I gotta see this because this actually real. That's so real.
I'll send you a link. But yeah, so but learning that your girlfriend is with every use of her superpowers, which admittedly I'd be annoyed that she had superpowers, so I'd be like, well,
the crazy part
is those powers didn't have a price.
The crazy part is it's kind of his fault that she kept using them.
It's always the dude's fault, dude. he's like, those girls I see online are just praying all the time, and then he's just constantly trying to like get her to pray, and she's like, I'm not like really about
I don't
it.
think I like this hypothetical too much.
He's always asking her to like open the prayer up. He's like, let's like pray with our friends and stuff, and she's like, I really just like praying with you, Hidoka, and honestly, like doing it for money feels like it makes it transactional. Feels like it just puts a bad cloud over the whole thing, you know?
And then Hidoka turns into Kenneth Copeland. He's just like, nah, we need money now.
Hidoka's like, we're going to pray for this polycule is what we're going to do. No, but yeah, you find out I'm making my girlfriend into water. That the water
They should have named the movie "I'm Making My Girlfriend Into Water."
The sunshine god claims a heavy toll, and he's coming for my cutie pie. Yep. And also, I just fucked up her whole shit. We haven't talked about Nagisa.
Oh, you're talking about the lady killer?
We need to touch on this.
You got that, bro. He got it.
Hina's got a little brother. Is he her actual brother? Or is he like a kid that she found?
That's her actual brher.
She's got a little brother named Nagisa.
Their parents are both dead. I forget exactly how.
So Hina is like 15, claiming
to be
17.
Like 8.
Her brother's 8, and he is the...
She's also claiming she's 18.
He's the hottest boy in the elementary school.
It's so crazy that you see him earlier on in the movie, like with 2 different chicks, just like, I think you're cool. No, I think you're cooler. And even the main character's like, man, this nigga's kind of a whore. What the heck's going on here?
Right? It's... This is one of the funny, like one of the most weirdly unique characters across all of Shinkai's like character roster. You know, he just wrote it.
He wrote himself in. It's self-insert.
He doesn't make Shinkai doesn't write like very out there characters. You know, his overarching themes and his stories are weird, but his characters are pretty boilerplate. It's like boy loves girl.
But I think you see that
boy.
a lot in this movie specifically because you got Kisuke, you got his niece. Pretty powerful.
Oh, Shinkai loves like the paternal figure and the maternal. He's always got like a mom and a dad.
Well, I'm not talking about like that type of thing. I'm talking about like their personality wise and how their characters actually act.
Yeah, these people are humanistic as hell. They're turned up.
Yeah,
they got degrees.
But they're like they have like their own thing going on where she's taking care of her brother, she's paying bills, doing their thing. And it turns out when the cops show up, they also bring CPS. They're like, yeah, y'all little niggas got to go tomorrow. We'll take you,
y'all ain't
separate
even in
y'all.
School every day.
Right? Yeah, and she's just like, dang. And then here, you know, they walk away, and Hidoka's like, bro, I'm sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. This is my fault. Dang, I messed up.
Yesterday night, Nagisa was just like, bedtime's canceled. And then CPS showed up, and they were like, bedtime's back.
Bedtime's back, little nigga. Yeah, so then it's like, what happens next?
Well, Hidoka is realizing he just fucked up Hina's whole shit.
Yeah.
He ruined everything.
It's weird because I think she's oddly chill about it throughout the whole rest of the movie. She's kind of just like, well,
she's consigned to this Poseidon's grave thing where she's like,
And I think she kind of expects him to take care of her brother when she's gone.
Yeah, and so let me make sure here. We find out a little bit more about Kisuke's custody battle with his daughter.
Yeah, because
he starts getting paperwork. Mm-hmm. No one likes paperwork. No one wants that. It's always fucked up.
What does that have to do with the? Because I know they talk about this, but I'm waiting on the.
He gets paperwork where they start asking him. They're like, "Hey, Kisuke, have you seen this missing little boy?"
No, they don't give him paperwork. They go to his house.
Because they show up and they're like, "Have you seen this missing little boy?" Because like people around town have said that they might have seen you with him, type stuff. And he's like, "I'm in the middle of a custody battle right now. I can't be kidnapping a 15-year-old boy
I think he said
when
that.
I'm in the middle of a custody battle for my daughter with the state." And
it's funny because the next time he sees him, he says that he's like, "You listen, little nigga, I'll give you this money, you know, to kind of figure it out. Stay away from me, get away from me. I don't know you, you don't know me. I'm trying to get my daughter back."
He gives him $5,000 to be like, basically like, "Hey, bro," because Hidoka comes home because does Hina go missing before or after this?
After what?
After it would have to be after. Child Protective Services hits up Hina. They tell her, "You're about to get evicted like tomorrow on some tomorrow shit. Right. Maybe get arrested for lying about taking care of your brother because your mom's dead as fuck, girl."
Right.
And we get a flashback to Hina and her mom. we get to like kind of learn the story of how Hina's mom died and how Hina learned that she was a rain priestess by praying for her mom to see the sun one last time.
Yeah, and then when she walked through the shrine.
Yeah, she discovered, which, I don't know, I guess there's just like magical artifacts.
Just laying around.
Sometimes you're just walking through Japan and you touch an ancient sword.
And you get tractor beamed.
And the sword says, I am your bankai, and says some shit inside your head, and you're like, what's a bankai? And it's like your life's about to get complicated, nigga.
Yeah.
And that's like a theme in Japan.
It's really crazy, though.
They stay just like, oh, I oopsie daisy touched.
Oh, I ate this burger. Now I can transform into a dinosaur on command.
I bumped into this old man, and now I'm Tetsuo.
Yeah. It was interesting though to see Kisuke's character kind of like be a surrogate father towards him a little bit, because you were talking about that. How Shinkai loves, he really does freaking love that. Like, you see it in A Place Promised in Early Days.
These people,
you see it in what's the other one with the Children Who Chase Lost Voices with the teacher, even though he sacrificed her at the end of the movie.
Loves to sacrifice the lady.
He really does love sacrificing young children that are women, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Place Promised in Our Early Days, it's about the gravity tower is gonna sacrifice her. I don't even remember how the gravity tower in that movie.
Whole lore was not explained very well at all.
Super confusing. But this is him being confident enough that he like doesn't feel like he has to explain shit.
Well, because even
enjoy
the stuff that he did explain, you can kind of understand through subtext. So it's like show don't tell.
He's just like, it's raining all the time, and it's like, okay, and he's like, we need to sacrifice a girl to the sky to bring the sun back, and it's like, oh, okay. And he's like, the girl is picked by whoever touches this shrine, and it's like, I guess, and he's like, I won't be saying it again. So fuck you. And you're like, okay. Shinkai.
So then they get to the part where they're like actually like trying to get away from the police, and the weather is crazy. The sun god wants what's his, and he wants it now.
He's fucking.
It's going crazy. It's snowing while raining. It's raining while snowing. There's lightning going off. All the birds are too scared to stay in Japan. They went to Mongolia.
A cop sees them being little jits in the street.
Oh yeah, and then he tries to
grab Nagisa.
And guess what happens?
Girl brings down the fucking thunder.
She's like, boom! Starts a fire.
Down B.
And they're like, do we capture the kid or save these people in the burning fire? So they run to the fire, and then it's like, yeah, I guess she got it like that.
If I saw a lightning bolt obliterate a vehicle like this, I would like. That's not supposed to happen like that, bro. I've seen lightning strike cars. Like, I've seen lightning strike houses, and
maybe it was too much plasma.
You see lightning strike a trash can and stuff, and it's fine.
Trash can
if you
explodes.
saw lightning strike a car and like blow up a box truck, bro, I'd be like, yo, was there dynamite in that thing? Like, what? Was it?
Maybe it went, because sometimes the wheels will exit the insulator, but sometimes it can directly hit a part of the engine, and that could cause. It's rare. It's rare that happens.
The engine is supposed to explode. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to have an explosion in the engine. You'd have to have I actually don't know. You'd have to, like, if the gas tank was open, maybe. I don't know, but this would shake my ass. This would shake my shit.
I'm sorry, what? Don't you want to repeat that last phrase?
This would shake the shit out my ass.
I don't think... Okay, that doesn't make it better.
There we go.
That doesn't make it better. That makes it worse.
I saved it.
I think you killed it, actually.
I was in the air.
I think you were in the air, and you landed on your arm.
It would fuck me up. There's so many things in this movie that would fuck me up forever. If I saw a girl call a bolt of lightning down, I would reach a level of inconsolable jealousy.
You would kill yourself.
That's when I would be throwing myself and just
throw yourself off a bridge. It's like you've
got lightning powers.
You're dead. You're dead. Broke. You lost a kid. You lost a house. You're down. You're like, you're walking on the streets like, man, life sucks. You see a girl with magical powers summon lightning. You're like, yeah, this is what ends it. That's what ends it.
That's the straw, bro. Like, I'm done. I've lost. It's so unfair. But she calls down the lightning. They got to get away. And the rain, as you said, it starts getting. People are like
getting trapped.
It's getting day after tomorrow, where like people are like walking and they're like, like you feel the temperature dropping. Like
the trains start closing.
And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, you feel like the air is getting colder around you, and it's like...
Yeah, and they keep trying to find hotels. They're like, you got ID? He's like, I got money. They're like, nah, sorry, bro. All right, you gotta go. You gotta go. This ain't Motel 8. Get out of here, little nigga.
Such 15-year-old shit. It's like, hey, do you got a reservation at this Holiday Inn Express? And it's like, what does Mr. Ben Franklin have to say about
what are these
that?
bands got to say about it?
It's a $1,500 fine for me to break protocol, sir. I don't know what the hell you're trying
They
to
eventually find a hotel.
How much is 5,000 yen?
I think it's akin to like $750.
That's how much Kisuke gives him to fuck off?
Throw me my phone. I'm pretty sure it's $750.
Oh, hold up. Hey, Google, how much is 5,000 yen in U.S. dollars?
5,000 Japanese yen is approximately $34.16.
Dang!
Okay, he gives him like $60 or $70 because I feel like he gives him he pulls out a couple $1,000, unless those were $10,000 notes. Which I don't even know if Japan has. I don't know how it works over there. I hear the toilets flush backwards, like.
It goes in the opposite direction.
Yeah, they go up. And,
they go up and then they go back down.
They go up through.
You got to make sure
the
the poop doesn't hit you. You know when you're pooping. Yeah,
I think that's like an old Arj Barker joke from like '99.
Who's Arj Barker?
Exactly. But
dang, this guy's old, man.
I know that. No, that is absolutely like me pulling something from like Comedy Central, like 1999 type shit.
Dang. So pre Dave Chappelle.
Anyway, so everyone in Japan is like, the weather's fucked, man. Like, but for real this time, like we really did something bad. Someone must have like prayed to the wrong god or something. Like we're fucked. And so Hina's like, I know what I must do.
Well, before that, they kind of have like the night of their lives in that little hotel room. They're like watching movies. They're eating. They're like, oh, this is amazing.
Oh.
This nigga has it in his head. He's like, you know what? I could fix this. I could make it to where her and her brother live happily ever after. I just got to figure this out. And then he wakes up. And what does he see? She's gone. And shortly after that, what happens next? Boom! Cops kicking in the door like, oh, get down. Where's he at?
Is the sun shining at this point?
Yes.
Yes. He wakes up to the sun shining.
Yeah. And then he's like, wait a minute. No, this can't be. And like right as he like starts figuring it out, the cops show up and he is cooked.
Yeah, and so this now gets into a scene that is way longer than I thought it was meant to be.
Talk about the woman there in the car?
I'm talking about the chase in general. From the minute that he's like, oh...
Let me walk out this police station.
Well, the minute he's like, I gotta get Hina back, it's like, this whole...
That lasts like 45 minutes.
I know!
I didn't realize, because like the movie wasn't even like close to over yet when that scene started. And I was kind of like... Wait a minute. They got about 45 minutes left in this thing.
Yeah, but Hidoka, for lack of anything else, he's like, I need to get Hina back.
Nigga became Usain Bolt in like 5 minutes.
Well, he's like, I gotta get there. I gotta fucking get there. I gotta get there. He starts running, and then Natsumi pulls up. Because Shinkai loves to have your best nigga pull up on a moped and be like, hop on the back.
You know what?
He does this in Place Promised in our early days. Boy pulls up and he's like, hop in the jet, bro. We're going to the gravity tower. Then in Children, or in Your Name, boy pulls up on the moped and he's like, hop on the back, girl. We're blowing up an electrical plant. And in this one, Natsumi pulls up and
hop on. We're evading and resisting arrest.
It's like I'm kidnapping a 15-year-old, I guess. And
somebody
she's
clip
down.
him saying that.
She's like absolutely down. She's like weaving, bobbing, and she's like, maybe I was born to be a criminal.
And eventually, like the chase gets to a point where they can't go on in the moped anymore. So he starts running again, and he gets to the building where the shrine is at. And who does he see?
Well, hold up. We're underselling this run. This nigga runs like 10 miles.
The crazy part was, I was thinking about it in my head. I'm like,
running.
I was like, this nigga isn't changing pace or stopping at all.
And they aren't drawing him like. He's running like it's like a very to scale. Like it's like what's the average run speed of a 16-year-old boy? Is like what?
Depends on what he's running for.
7 miles an hour. 9 maybe, and it's like he looks like he's moving about 7 to 9 miles. He's like,
But he just doesn't stop. And I'm like, I couldn't do this.
People think it's literally funny. They're like, that boy's running on the train track. People are like, we got to stop that kid.
He's like, hey, stop running. It's dangerous. He's like, I can't.
Fuck you.
I can't do it. I gotta save my girlfriend from the sky.
But yeah, he gets to the building after running for
45 minutes.
Even the movie undersells how hard he runs. Like, I'm like, dog, he is...
Nigga is drenched in sweat by the time he gets to the building.
He's running so hard that when the police go and do another check on Kisuke, here's how long he's running. He runs from the police station, starts upon the tower. The police notice that he's running. Construction workers see him running along the path. And then Child Protective Services goes and informs Kisuke, like, hey, listen, you're like kind of about to catch charges for this kidnapping stuff. And he's like, what's going on? And he's like, the crazy thing is this kid's doing this all because he seems to care about some girl. And the police are kind of not interested in Hina at all. They're into Hidoka because he's a kidnapping kid. Because Hidoka's parents are like, where the fuck are you? But Kisuke, when he hears that Hidoka's doing all this for Hina,
he's like,
he tears up. Nigga. And that's the other thing.
Oh, yeah, because they end up visiting Kisuke's place with all the water in there and stuff like that, trying to figure out if he's still there. This
happens multiple times in this movie and multiple times across Shinkai Works, where it's, what is that liquid falling from your eyes, sir?
It's raining. It's a horrible day for rain.
Because the detective, when he's like, yeah, he's doing this for some girl, and then Kisuke grabs his ring and he's like, stupid fucking kids. And then the detective's like, are you all right, dude? And he's like,
there's a lot of water in here.
What is this liquid falling from my face?
Yeah, and he's running for so long. By the time he gets there, Kisuke's already waiting for
him
at the building. He's waiting for him at the building. He's like, hey, little nigga, you got to pack it up. It's over. I'm sorry. Right? So then all the cops show up at the same time. We're like, what are you doing here? You said you didn't know where this kid was. He's like, hey, bro, calm down.
Well, before the cops even show up, Kisuke's like, this is when Hidoka becomes like my favorite character that Shinkai's ever written. Is Kisuke's like, hey, man, I get it. Like, you think your girl was like sucked up into the sky or whatever, but you need to, and Hidoka, in a rare moment that you don't see in a lot of cinema, Hidoka acts exactly like someone should when all the marbles are on the line. Because Hidoka's very much like, get the fuck away from me!
He did. Yeah, and then he pulls the gun out.
The fuck
and he pulls the gun. I forgot about that. Yes, he grabs the gun.
He's like, his mentor.
He grabs the gun out of the cop's pocket. He's like, hey! Get back, yes.
And they're like, what are you doing? And he's like, my girlfriend. And it's like, you never see people act like this in action movies. You never see people
they're
act
always
like
They're
always like,
yeah.
They always say cryptic shit like, I've got to stop it. You wouldn't understand.
Nigga's like, my girlfriend.
He's like, my girlfriend's in the
by the sky.
fucking sky, and I know none of you niggas believe me. I know you all don't believe me. And it's like,
yeah, I forgot about that because when he did that, I was like, hey, yo. He real for this.
And then Kisuke gets radicalized. Kisuke's like, at this point, I got 6 guns pointed at me. My daughter's custody is lost. It's gone. And so he...
Nigga punches a cop.
Swings on a cop for the second time in this movie because Hina swings on a cop earlier in the movie. And I'm like, she's a 15-year-old girl. But Kisuke, you are a man with a career and a family and a house and a mortgage.
While the cops are arresting him, this nigga's finally like, all right, let's go. And he's running up. Stairs are blocked. Niggas like,
won't stop him.
It won't stop him. He starts climbing up the building. He's like, I'm getting up there. I'm saving my girlfriend from this guy. It's happening. But I think the part you were talking about where it's like he reacted how you would expect someone to react to the situation. I think in a lot of anime, they don't write characters that do that a lot. Like characters will react in a way where you're like, nobody in real life would do it like this. Like, there's no way.
And so he touches the shrine. He enters the Cloud Realm. Fearlessly. This motherfucker goes into the realm of the gods, pissed off, angry, like in a way.
He's like, you ever play Doom? You ever play Doom? He's like Doom guy where he's like, nah, I'm getting there and nobody's stopping me.
He's surrounded by flying fish, water droplets that are carrying him through the clouds and stuff. And it's like you've entered a new realm, Hidoka. He's like, nah, fuck that.
Where my girl at?
Fuck all this shit.
He sees her in the distance and he's like, Hina. She's like, what the?
And this. My name? Hidoka becomes the Eren Yeager of romance anime.
Whoa! Here. That's a strong claim because I got niggas that could beat that.
No.
I got like 4 niggas that could beat that.
Because Hidoka sees Hina mid-sacrifice to the rain god himself. And she's like, Hidoka, wait, no, we've gotta like complete the cycle. This is like end of the cabin in the woods. This is end of Attack on Titan. We gotta you complete the cycle. We've gotta like for the planet, like for Japan. And Hidoka's
nigga
like,
says,
fuck all of them. There's me and you, girl, and fuck all of this. Fuck them. Stop worrying about them. And I was like, this is the most high agency character. This is Shinkai directly rejecting all of the criticisms that Tomino ever lobbied on him. It's like, oh, his characters are always like 2 people who fall in love but are like...
Maybe he did that on purpose, so maybe this movie was a reaction to those very claims.
Because you watch 5 centimeters per second.
Niggas
you
like...
watch
yeah.
Voices of a Distant Star.
Goodness gracious.
You watch Your Name even, and it's like a lot of the guy being like, I wish I fucking did something.
This nigga's actually doing something, bro.
wish
Nigga
I
bought her a
knew.
whole ring, bro. He gave it to her before she died. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It fell off her finger.
Fell from the sky.
Yeah.
But yeah, you watch so much of Shinkai's work, even like the main villain at the end of Children Who Chase Lost Voices. It's like these are all guys who are like, I wish I had done something more.
This
I wish
nigga's
I'd made
actually
the move.
doing the thing.
Hidoka makes every move. Hidoka makes
All
every
the
play.
cards on the table, he's betting on black.
It's like, I'm taking every phone call. I'm setting up an email blast, put them in the queue. I got a Rolodex of fucking names. I got a Rolodex of ideas. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Oh, girl, you said the rain god is trying to clamp. Fuck that nigga. Where he at? I'm coming. I'm going to get you. I'm pulling up. And it's like,
So, Nick, I feel like you relate to this character.
and
a lot.
I'm like, Hidoka, I didn't see this because there's so much nonsense in this movie. At this point in the movie, there are a lot of threads that you need to like be keeping track of.
Here's
You've got-
here's my thing, right? Because I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said I didn't see any of this in the movie. Because, to my point, I don't think he has any clear motivations for doing anything aside from the fact of hating his hometown. Hold on, let me cook. Aside from the fact of hating his hometown until he meets Hina. And then now his motivation is like, it's this girl. That's it. Nigga doesn't care about being free. Nigga doesn't even care if he has a criminal record. He's like, nah, this girl is it. This is the end. And I think that's the reason why you're making that claim where it's like, I didn't see any of this because you really didn't. You didn't see his character feel strongly about much of anything until this happened.
Look, there's
You
a
got
lot to be said
look,
about the idea.
but I'm just saying.
There's a lot to be said about the idea that perception is the combination of the seeking of novelty with the reference of memory.
What's that got to do with what I just said?
Hidoka left his town because he was seeking novelty, which is why people do. It's why sporadic people are sporadic. It's why the crackheads smoke crack. It's because there's people who are inherently just seeking a form of novelty. It's why drugs, for some people, it's like you drink a beer and you're like, it's good enough for me. But some people are like, what does meth feel like? And it's like they're constantly in the
Pushing
pursuit.
that edge, trying to get that novelty that they can't find anything else.
But no, well, there's 2 kinds of people. There's like adrenaline junkie type people where you're in a constant pursuit of the novelty. And that's dangerous. That's like your porn keeps getting crazier. Your drugs keep getting harder. You keep drinking harder liquors. Like you keep partying harder and getting into more debauched shit. And it's like that is a problem. Those are the people who die from like base. I want to try base jumping where I have to catch the parachute midair and then and it's like, and then you hear next week it's like that guy died, that nigga died, and it's like really doing that thing that sounded like it was gonna kill. It happens. And some people it manifests into like you hit the wall of like meth or fentanyl and it takes you out.
Say fentanyl?
Yeah, but some people it's like you're just seeking until you find like what you're looking for. You
And
know?
I
It's like,
think
I
that's
moved all over the world
and
until I landed.
I
in
think
Connecticut.
that's what happened with Hidoka's character, right?
When
Where
he
he didn't
found
really know what he was seeking until he found Hina.
I mean, bro, Hina is a girl gets you burgers. She's nice to you. She's got.
But you agree with my point.
And she's
but
a
you,
rain priestess.
But you agree with my point that his motivations were kind of vapid up until he met Hina.
They're not. It's not vapid.
They're
to
just not
seek-
defined.
No, it's not. There's nothing wrong with just the bare bones motivation of like, I don't like my town. I want to see more of the world. That is America.
So, but
that is
but
like the
in the movie, I don't think it's more because from what I got from it was like, I don't like my town. I need to leave. I need to get out of here. Like
yeah.
it wasn't like I want to see the world. It's just like I need to get out of my town.
It's the truest thing any immigrants ever thought is like, you know what? I think I can do better. And you think that until you get you a rain priestess girl, and it's like, bro, you're sitting at 20. I don't think you should hit. You should walk away from the table, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna. Some guys, they roll the dice and they get a 9, and they're like, let me shoot for a 10, and you're like, you're gonna die alone.
Yeah,
you're gonna fucking die alone, bro. I don't.
The craziest part was the first time he sees her again. He's like, yo, jump up to me. I forget exactly how they ended up interacting. I think she jumped off whatever grass platform she was on.
Everything in this movie is just happening. Like, you never get an explanation for the water droplet fish or whatever. Like, it's never really the cloud world.
Even in Children Who Chase Lost Voices, you get some type of explanation for a lot of like the animals and like the wildlife you see. Where now it's just like, hey, they're just there.
You're like, he goes into the cloud gate, and you're like, is that the only shrine? Is that like the only cloud gate? And it's like, shut the fuck up,
and
dude.
watch the movie.
Like, literally, shut up, dude. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. And the metaphor is, and this is, you go, you go straight from Last of Us Part 1 into Last of Us Part 2 because we get back to Tokyo and it's underwater. And
these niggas don't care because then you get a time skip where you're not really sure what's going on.
It's a 7-year or 3-year time skip? 3 years.
4 years.
4-year time skip.
Yeah. And then he graduated high school. And the funniest scene in this whole movie, right? You know when he's graduating high school and the two girls like selling, she's like, you gonna ask him? You gonna ask him? And you're like, oh, it's gonna be a confession. This nigga cool like that. She goes up to him and the question she asks is it true you're a convicted felon? I was like, that's crazy. Yeah. That's the craziest setup for a joke ever.
It's one of the best setups for the joke is when Nagisa uses all of his ex-girlfriends.
Oh my god!
To distract the cops.
No, because he has one of them go to the bathroom with the cop and then dresses in the other girl's clothes, and she dresses like him so he can leave.
And she's like, "You're calling your exes in to do favors for you, dude." And he's just like, "Listen, man's
got to do no." Because I think it's internal dialogue she has instead of just saying it, which is still funny. Like, it's hilarious. Yeah, he gotta like that. I try to be like him.
But yeah, we get back to Tokyo, and Tokyo is fucked. Like, categorically fucked. It's actually like, I remember in the theater being completely jaw-dropped that this was the result of Hina and Hidoka saying, like, are you really gonna, like, renege on the sacrifice? And Hidoka's like, 100 times out of 100, dog, fuck these people. And this is... As I said, this is Joel at the end of The Last of Us. This is Eren Yeager at the fucking end.
I'm not. Nah.
This is. Nah, are you really gonna do the rumbling?
This is not.
Are you really?
This is not comparable to Eren Yeager. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, bro! He fucks up all of Japan.
Hold on,
because he loves
Japan.
Her.
Eren messed up the entire planet. Aside from like 5% of niggas on there.
The point is,
I'm not.
When
I'm not
presented with her or the world. This is what it's all about.
I think Eren is different because he's merely putting this on a person. Eren is about ideology and realizing that he truly doesn't have freedom and that he is a slave to Ymir's plan.
No, man, you're getting too specific with it.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying the point is these are high agency people. These are guys who don't
so if you
take
no
for an answer.
If you just said that, I would have been like, all right, cool. But you're like, this is Eren Yeager at the end. This is Lelouch v. Britannia at the end of Code Geass.
This is literally the same as Eren choosing to do the rumbling. This is the same as Joel choosing Ellie over the people of Earth.
Here's the thing, right? I think I would be inclined to agree with you if his motivations off rip were a little stronger towards any direction. They weren't.
His motivation is I love her and I don't. And
no.
I don't
I'm
need
talking
anything
about.
Else.
I'm talking about like in general. Like he didn't really have motivations for much aside from just leaving his hometown. That's it.
No, bro, you're misjudging. You're saying
I think you're too close to the character and what he did, and you're missing it.
Zeke, you are saying a guy who left his hometown met a stranger, moved in with him, started a business, met a girl, fell in love with her, lost her to a rain god, and got her back. You're saying like this guy doesn't have motivation, and I'm like, don't get.
I'm saying
what his motivation
saying he only
is.
has motivation at the latter half of the story. The characters you mentioned before, like I'm not saying he didn't have motivation to do something, but they weren't. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm inclined to be wrong. That's fair. I'm just saying I don't like his character as much as you do.
Every single move Hidoka does in this movie is a move that a lazy man would not. I would even stress is a move that every other Shinkai male has been too lazy to do.
That I will give you. And maybe
Hidoka
looking at it
is
from
like
that,
so much by such a great margin.
Maybe looking at it from that frame and the juxtaposition of his character comparative to the other Shinkai main characters, I could get it.
When you get to like him trying to like when you get to him pulling the gun on Kisuke, you're like, all right, he's at the very least equal to the Guardian at the end of Children Who Chase Lost Voices in terms of like ambition. And then when he rejects God and destroys Tokyo for Hina, I'm like, this is a level of conviction, and for Makoto Shinkai to take the time to show us demolished Tokyo. Like, it's all underwater now.
Yeah.
These people got to live totally different. Millions of people who are like, our lives are all fucking different. It's all fucking... And it's cool because he kind of sets up the head fake of, like, them being like, oh, we caused all this. And then some people are like... Kisuke's like, you guys really think you, like, convened with a rain god and all of this is like your guys' fault?
Yeah, he kind of. I thought that was the funny part. Where he was
you guys really
like,
think this is all about you?
He was like, I don't know, you disappear for 30 minutes after you went to the shrine, but nah, you're tweaking.
Yeah, he's like, I think you went up to the shrine, bonked your head.
That part kind of pissed me off a lot when it got to that part of the movie. I'm like, how are people not seeing this and being like, this is insane? They're just like, it's just some stupid kids.
But that's why this is when I'm like, oh, it's a metaphor. It's all just like a metaphor for the fact that it's like, it literally came down to Hina or the world. The world as you know it. The world that as you've like known it your whole life. And it goes back to that speech the grandmother made earlier where she's like, you know, people are tied to the way things are, but things are always changing and in more ways than we expect. And like the weather, we can't like... grows super tied to the way, like, oh, it's sunny today. And it's like, you can't have your happiness be based on whether or not it's going to be sunny today. Right. You've got to just say it's a beautiful day. Not like, oh, I'm sad. It's a rainy day. If it was sunny, I'd be happy. You got to be like, oh, what a beautiful rainy day it is. And you got to have that in your heart.
I think Shinkai is very good at relating powerful dialogue to the intricacies of the story he's building. Yeah. And that's why he does it very well. But I'm not, to the point previously, I'm not going to say he's not a high agency character. Like, I don't want that to be the takeaway. Okay, the highest, debatable. Not like I'm gonna give you debatable. I'm not gonna say he's the highest. That's crazy. I'm not gonna say he's the highest agency character. I'll say he is a character of high agency, and the highest agency comparative to any other Shinkai character aside from the teacher and Children Who Chase Lost Voices.
That motherfucker
That nigga sacrificed a child, bro.
He had a plan and he sat on it for years. And that is that's high agentic behavior right there.
So I will say he is high agency compared to the characters he's with, but highest, like in anime, crazy statement.
I would say this
crazy
kid, not in all of anime,
okay,
but in all of Shinkai's work,
he is the highest agency. So like I think it's
to a reckless degree.
I think it's debatable between him and the teacher because the teacher went blind. Like that nigga went blind for all of it.
You're not debating if any of Shinkai's other characters made the right choice.
You're debating whether or not they made choices that they felt.
You're like, oh, you should have. Did I or didn't I? This guy, you're like, maybe you shouldn't have. Maybe you should have dialed it back one step.
Yeah, it's like maybe you're a little too extreme about this.
Like, you might have gone too far.
You know, maybe that perspective makes me think a little differently about it.
But because I was like, this is straight consequence. This is the aftermath.
But it's like they didn't even care. They were kind of thought about it for a second, and they're like, eh. Because even when they meet up again, they don't even mention the fact that like Tokyo's underwater. They're just like, oh my gosh, the love of my life. And they reach a warm embrace and credits.
That's because life goes on, man. I think this is Shinkai trying to say, you know me, I'm like, you got to be chaos maxing your life. But I do think this is Shinkai in a very direct kind of way saying, like, love above all. Like, maybe I did not make myself clear, nigga. I mean love above all.
Your name
like,
kind of said it a little bit, but in this movie, it's like, no.
No, I don't think you seem to understand that I'm saying if faced with, like, finding true love or fucking over everyone you know, you go for the love.
Something I thought was very interesting is you can see the escalation in how he tells his love stories, quote unquote.
This is the most extreme one by far.
Like, it goes from Voices of Innocent Stars, a little like, okay, all right. Then it's Place Promised in Early Days, where the people actually interact for more than like 2 weeks. People die. Then you get to, what was it next? Not your, because Children's Lost Voices wasn't like that. 5 centimeters per second, where they kind of know each other a little bit, and they talk for more than like 2 weeks.
5 centimeters per second, some pen pal shit.
And then you get to Your Name, where the niggas actually get together, just at the end. And then you finally get to this movie, where this nigga sacrifices the entirety of Japan for one girl.
And I think I can't stress enough that I do think this is Shinkai saying that's what it takes. Like, he's like, you need to be willing to go there. You need to be willing to, because I told you Tomino's big critique of Your Name is he's like, these guys never lay it down. These guys never seal the deal. These guys are always longing for the woman. And I'm like, no, Hidoka's making the wall sting. Hidoka is like punching the first guy who looks at Hina.
So do you think
he's getting kicked out?
Do you think that this is a good movie regardless of the fact that it was more of a reaction to something that was said?
I don't know if this movie is a reaction, but
because the thing about it is, if you really think about it, what else could it have been? Like, he literally hit on all the plot points in main characters that Tomino had issues with.
It's weird because when you first watch this movie, it's like in your heart you're like, oh, this is just like another romance. But it's when you start digging in to all the characters, you're like, this is him. Like, these aren't. Almost every character in this movie is not someone who's just like sitting around waiting for stuff to happen to them, waiting to hear what's occurring.
Even Kisuke and Natsume, they're kind of just all like doing things, like actively doing things and getting stuff
Kisuke's like,
done.
I gotta get this fucking publishing business off the ground type shit. I gotta get my daughter back. I gotta get my fucking daughter back. And it's like, yeah, these people are this. And I never would have imagined myself saying this. Because I don't think this movie's better than Your Name, and I don't even know if I'd say this movie's prettier than Your Name. And Your Name has better Your Name has the best music of some of the best music that's ever been in
Your
anime.
Name and what's the other Rain one? Something you know what I'm talking about? The one with the shoes. Oh, Garden of Words.
Garden of Words.
Garden of Words got the best music. This and Garden of Words, or Your Name and Garden of Words, best music by far.
I think that I think the rough. I'm kind of salty on time travel stuff. You know, I get it, where I'm like, oh, it's time travel, but I think that I think Kisuke, Hina, and Hidoka and Natsumi are like possibly the four best. Like the most, I'm more into them as characters than most of Shinkai's characters up till now. Up until now, it's typically been like I'm really motivated by the story. Shinkai's got such weird ideas. His worlds are so odd. You know, it's like influenced by like ancient Aztec gods and all this weird stuff. But Hidoka, Kisuke, like Natsumi and Hina, their like relationship, and Nagisa, I'm like, these guys are fucking, they're funny.
Well, they seem more complex than the regular Shinkai character, because in a lot of his movies, sometimes it feels like the characters take a backseat to everything else going on in the story. Yeah, like, now it feels like the inverse.
When you get the last 10-15 minutes of Children Who Chase Lost Voices, you're like struggling to like keep track of what's going on. And in Place Promise in Our Early Days, you're like really
you're starting to understand what the story's about.
the characters are carrying that one where you're like really into the friendship. You're like, yeah, they got to get their friend back, but I'm a little confused about what's going on here. Yeah. Whereas this, it's just like, it's one thing. It's one thing, and it's hammering it. Because you're like, there's so many threads. You're like, there's the gun. There's the Yakuza. There's the child custody. There's Hidoka's custody. Where are Hidoka's parents? What's going on with Kisuke's, like, situation? What? And then there's Nagisa, and there's so many threads, and then this movie like triumphantly at the end says all that matters is the love between Hidoka and
this
Hina.
is why I really want you to watch the movies I sent you, because like they're both interconnected so well, and the ending of both movies start at the beginning of the next one, like no matter what order you watch them in.
Okay.
Because it's like,
don't give me any spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give you spoilers, but it's because I really would like to know what your thoughts are on that one. Because
we'll do those next then. But
yeah,
man, I did not expect to like.
I liked it. Because I heard a lot of critiques about it. People were like, "It's all right." I was like, "That was a pretty good movie." Like, I don't know why people were like dogging it. I think it's because it came out so close to after Your Name came out, and I had seen Your Name back in like maybe like a year after it came out, 2019 or something like that, and then I didn't see this movie until recently. So I think I was far enough disconnected from Your Name that I was able to actually have an honest critique of like going into it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Your Name in theaters too, but I think I just wanted. I went into this movie the first time wanting something, and now going in with fresh eyes, I am like, he really snapped off in this one. This is like
a good movie. I'm not because I'd probably put it in like top five Shinkai movies for me.
So I mean, at the beginning of this was so easy, and now it's
was like we have a whole list.
Garden of Words is good. Children is good.
I don't even remember what my original list was.
What?
I said I don't even remember what my original list was.
Well, at this point, Voices of a Distant Star is obviously
it's
at the
at
bottom.
the bottom. Sorry, yeah.
Just can't hang. And then for me, 5 centimeters is right above there. But that's just because that's a movie about like two people basically bumping into each other and being like, I wish we had talked. I wish I had sent you my number, and I never did, and fuck. But, man, yeah, no, this run, Children, Garden, Your Name, this. I don't know what Suzume is holding, but this is...
I think...
this is a fucking tear.
I think once we get to Suzume, we should have like a list of them on the board.
We'll rank them.
So we can rank them like at the end. Because I haven't seen Suzume yet either. Because I heard it was pretty good when it came out. People liked it. It was well received.
Yeah, for me, Garden ranks above. Its top 3 is definitely your Garden of. Or top 3 for me is definitely Children Who Chase Lost Voices.
Children Who Chase Lost Voices is top 3 for sure.
Your Name and this. I just don't. I know Your Name's at the top, but I don't know what my number 2 is.
I'd say I don't think Your Name is at the top. I think it's Children Who Chase Lost Voices for me, because I just personally enjoy that movie more. Right, Your Name, Garden of Words, this, 5 centimeters per second, and then I think Voices of a Distant Star was the last one. I'm gonna stand at the bottom. I think Voices stand at the bottom for me.
Yeah. So the thing is, and I think what makes me really like shaky on it is, there's a lot of movies where it's like, are you watching something cool? This is the problem a lot of Marvel movies have. They're like, let's show you something cool, but it's like, what are you trying to say? Like a lot of people. The reason they like Black Panther 1, even though Black Panther factually...
I like Black Panther 2 a lot better.
The final battle sequence of Black Panther 1 is shitty. It's unquestionably shitty, bad CGI, Killmonger versus T'Challa fighting on the hover train thing. It looks shitty.
Yeah.
But it's one of the few Marvel movies that has like a distinct thing to say, which is basically saying that like rich black people... who have like watched poor black people exist and feel like they're separate and away and like a different place. Like, oh, we see the struggle and the pain of poor black people and we watch from our ivory towers with our money and our gold chains and our Ferraris and whatnot.
I mean,
and
I don't think that could just be a
Killmonger all but directly says, you people are a fucking problem. You people pulled the ladder up behind you. You people don't care about trying to make us better. You're trying to make yourselves better.
I mean, I don't think that could just be put onto the race diaspora. I think that just happens in general when you get to class, right?
Yeah, but Black Panther's a black people movie. Yeah. I don't think that's a controversial
No, it's not a
statement.
It was definitely a black people movie, yeah.
But yeah, and so it's one of the few, like, if you were to ask me what does Black Panther 2 have to say, I'm like, I get over, like, grief hits us all or
Differently.
something.
Yeah, I think
But
Black
Black
Panther 2 is
Panther
more
1
about grief than anything else.
Killmonger has, like, one of the most definitive messages of, like, a villain in the Marvel universe.
I think that his motivations were good. I didn't like the acting for his character.
It's not about the acting, though. I'm saying it's, like, the message.
I think that
and I think Weathering with You, more than a lot, honestly, I think 5 centimeters per second is trying to say something profound with its, even though I don't like that movie very much, that movie is all about, like, the weird way that longing for something can, like, scramble our brains for years, even something that, like, we can almost convince ourselves we had something by thinking that we missed out on something so long that it's like the thought that you are losing it makes you feel like you had something there. The
FOMO kind of makes you regret it more than you would if you didn't have it.
Yeah, and I think it's like 5 centimeters. Like, if you were like, what's the message of Children Who Chase Lost Voices? I'm like, I don't know. Don't sacrifice a little girl to an Aztec god. I
think I could probably. I mean, I think if I thought about it long enough, but I think it's a difference between a story that kind of feeds you what it's about and a story you kind of have to, like, look more in to figure out what it's about. You know what I mean?
Even Your Name, I don't know what the message of Your Name is. I know that the story, the romance of Your Name is beautiful. Like, the whole idea of, like, finding someone you're connected with and all that and doing whatever you can to maintain that connection. But
I think the meaning of Your Name all comes down to how you see fate.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe, yeah, but it's just, in my heart of hearts, I don't find that a very useful message, where this movie, to me, the message of Weathering with You is, like, if you see the one and you think she's, like, the one,
sacrifice Japan for her.
You need to do it's like you need to do whatever to get her, dude. If you think, like, she's seriously, like, not a joke, like, aha, I'm gonna talk about my boys about, I fumbled the bag on this bad. No, it's like, if you think she's, like, the one motherfucker, like, you need to, like, be willing to, like, fight a grizzly bear with your bare hands over it.
No. You gotta be able to fight. You gotta be able to fight a silverback gorilla in a Ross dressing room stall with nothing but a styrofoam cup as a weapon, with one hand tied behind your back.
Yeah,
that's the level you gotta get to.
You gotta go for it. I'm like, this is not just Shinkai's, like.
You think it's more than just a statement of Tomine? You think it's more of just, like, a statement in general?
Yeah, no, I think this is what Shinkai feels in his heart about love. And I think that if you watch all of his movies in a series like we have, it's like, yeah, no, Shinkai's obsessed with love.
He really
First
is.
off,
I think this is, like, the first time. I think this is, like, the first time you could actually get a clear idea of what he thinks about it.
Yeah. Where he's like, because it's like, I get it, dude. Like, you think about girls that you dated in high school and then broke up with. You're clearly still thinking about them 20 years later, because half your movies are about
a lot of
them.
the thoughts you could possibly get from him that he has about love are somewhat not disconjointed, but they can get lost in the abstraction of the rest of the movie. Yeah. In this movie, you're like, oh, he did a self-insert of this nigga Hidoka.
Yeah, like, as if you try to ask me, like, what does the comet represent in Your Name? And I'm like, I don't know, like, the coming of, like, deadlines or, like, type shit. Whereas in this, it's like, what does the weather represent? And it's like, the weather represents, like, the ups and downs of day-to-day life. And, like, if you are in love with someone, you need to be able to, like, be with them.
Weather with them.
You need to be
able to weather with you.
Yes, I'm saying, dude.
It's the name of the movie. No,
you don't want a girl that'll be there with you for the sun. You want a girl that'll be there with you in the rain. Dude, I'm saying this was his most, like, he's touching the button on this one, where I'm like,
I mean, I think it is important, and I think that's something that's lost on a lot of people. And I don't know about the boomers, your generation, but in my generation for sure, I think that's something that's lost on a lot of people, where it's like they only worry about the sunshine part and they don't even think about the rain part.
Because that's every single dude over 50.
As soon as the rain part comes, it's like, I'm out, I'm leaving, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, all of these successful relationships I've seen, for the most part, they both have an understanding where it's like, sometimes it's going to suck. Sometimes it's going to suck for years. Sometimes it's going to suck for months. If you're willing to, like, embrace the suck, it's going to be a lot cooler.
Yeah.
Eventually.
And it's rough, but like it's like this is what real love is though. It's literally not all sunshine. And
well, I mean, that's not even what love is. Like people think love is about like, oh, I feel this, I feel that. But love is about a commitment, right? It's
in the face of God.
In the face of
the cloud God.
I don't know about that, but speaking,
did we not see a commitment of love in the face of the cloud God?
Speaking generally, outside of Shinkai, I think love is a commitment, and people attach it so much to, oh, I kind of feel better about this person this day than I do this time, or I don't really like this person right now, so that means, I don't love them anymore. And it's like, it's not about how you feel. Love is like, I am choosing every day to commit to this person,
Yeah, this probably ranks above Children for me, man, because I didn't get you might have to watch this one again, because I said I didn't feel this way the first time I watched this movie. It's watching it the third time that I'm like, Shinkai's laying out the psychology that for like 12 years I've been guessing, and it's like, this is the movie where I'm like, I
know what he means.
He lays it out clear as fucking day in this one, and it's clear as day.
So you're ranking this above Children.
Children is very cool, and Children's probably got the best art style. I love the monsters in Children. I love like the world. The
world building, I think, was the best.
Hollow Earth, nigga? That's cool as hell.
The world building in that movie was the best. Like, every other movie, it was decent. It was all right. But the world building, I would say, is tantamount Miyazaki-like.
Yeah, I wanted that world to be real. It's like, I want there to be dinosaurs in the center of the earth.
In all the other movies, I'm kind of just like, But that's just a personal crowd. Like, that's me personally, right? I think everybody probably ranks these movies differently. People probably think that our choices are ridiculous. But... yeah.
I'm just like, I can't get over. I'm like, dude, Hidoka, he might be Shinkai's best character.
So, if you guys didn't know, this nigga's actually based off the character of Hidoka from
I'm just saying, you got to go out there. You got to be living hard, living fast, living against whatever rules they'll try to yoke around.
Don't let super walls tell you what to do, tell you how to think. Think for yourself.
You need to be introducing chaos into your life. You need...
I don't agree with the whole chaos. You said that a few times. I think that you need to introduce not intelligent, but like meaningful chaos into your life. Because if I just start doing drugs, okay, that's like a type of chaos that you don't really want in your life. But I think like making sure you interact with people you've never talked to before, putting yourself in situations where you have to talk to people who have not converging viewpoints, like differing viewpoints from yourself. Hanging out with people you don't know, making random friends. That's the type of chaos that I think is constructive.
It's very hard to lower the chance of very random good things happening to you. Or it's very hard to lower the chance of random bad things happening to you without also in some imperceptible way lowering the chance that random good things will happen to you.
So you're saying I should start doing drugs? Is that what I'm hearing?
You got to start tying off. And
No, but I get what you mean.
Dude, when Hidoka comes back to his hometown with his weather controlling baddie, looking at those small town fucks where he graduated high school from, they're like, damn, son, where'd you find that? And he's like, Tokyo, nigga. That's how I got it. I make 6 figures out there. I drive a Volvo.
Do you think that's kind of vapid, though?
No, but it's just dude, there's nothing like noble about choosing to be like a small town person. Like, it's a fine choice if you want to make, but it's not like...
I think that it depends on what you like. If you want to live that life, there's nothing bad about that. Just like if you want to live like the fast life in Tokyo, all the time, stuff going on, that's just what you like. I think you're attributing different to bad, where it's just like...
You're not going to meet a rain priestess in Podunk, Japan.
What if you don't care about being a rain priestess?
Then you're not in this movie.
I guess not. They don't see. Yeah, there's not a lot of niggas in Shinkai movies. What's up with that? You telling me there's not like billions of black people in Japan? That doesn't make any sense.
They're gonna have to figure that one out.
They're gonna have to figure that one out.
Well, damn, we've been going hard.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. There's just a lot happening in this movie, and there's like
this is a good one. This is worth it. This is honestly, it's like I really did like this movie way more than I thought I would.
was surprised because I'd heard so much flack that it got, and I was like expecting it to be like horrible, and I was like, this isn't bad. This is not a bad movie.
I didn't. The whole flooded Japan. I remember being just so baffled by it, and it's so funny because now I'm like, I get it. I totally get it. I understand why you absolutely needed this. You needed to show what he gave up, and you needed to show that they were both fine with it.
Right. Especially with that scene at the end, yeah. I liked it.
I loved it.
Movie.
It's good. This might be Shinkai's second best.
Next movie, Suzume. What's that about?
Doors.
What?
Like a girl finds a door in the middle of nowhere and opens it.
One of the characters reminds me of the one dude who died in the beginning of Children Who Chase Lost Voices. He kind of looks like him a little bit.
I haven't watched anything of Suzume.
I haven't even watched the trailer.
Yeah. So I'm going into this one. I'm raw dogging it. We still have the Attack on Titan Season 3 review.
Yeah, Season 3. You gotta start watching like summary videos for those, because like the information that whenever you go into it gives you like the raw. I'm like,
I really almost don't even want to edit the last episode because I made so many mistakes in it because I was so confused because Season 2 is like
it's a short.
It was just 7 years ago, guys. Like, give me a break. Fuck.
That's like 4 months for you.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, like. We're doing it. We got to do Attack on Titan seasons 3 and 4, and are we going to do both the finale? I think we can sum up the finales in a single.
Are we going to do both finales in one episode? Are we going to do season 4 episodically, and then the finales after? Or are we going to do the whole thing?
We'll just do 3 more. We'll do 3, 4, and then the finales, because I feel like the finales aren't.
They're kind of their own thing.
There's a lot of just like explosions and stuff happening in them.
That's the best part.
I know, but it's just. I feel like they don't require much explaining. Everything up until the end of season 3 of AOT requires
even
much
the
beginnings
of season 4, and even like towards the end of season 4, before the finales, requires a little bit of hard explanation, even like connecting back to things that you see.
Yeah, I mean, episode 1 of season 4, you gotta spend like a week explaining that to people. It's like,
well, you don't even see like the main cast until like episode.
It's
5?
Yeah, but anyway, AOT is like a fucking mess, but we'll get through it. But it's been fun. People have been watching for some reason.
People have been watching, surprisingly.
Yeah, talk shit.
Somebody's probably watching this right now. If you're watching this on the way to bed, have a good night's sleep. And wake up!
Go into Apple stores and just play this on all the demo phones. Like,
definitely play this on all the demo phones.
Put this on the the display iPads at the Best Buy.
Hijack your grandmother's signal on her hearing aid and just put this on.
Or don't. It's whatever. We don't need I don't need YouTube's money.
I don't need YouTube.
I don't either, actually. Now that, I don't know, I don't have high hopes for Google over the next decade, but
I've never had high hopes for Google.
That's a different story for a different day. But, damn, it's almost over. We've almost reviewed Makoto Shinkai. What are we going to do after this? Satoshi Kon? Get into Perfect Blue, Millennium Actress, and Paprika?
We could do that next.
Boogie Pop Phantom?
But I really want to
Paranoia Agent?
I really want you to watch the movies I say, because I want to know what your viewpoints are on those.
Yeah, we can get through a bunch of the anime movies. There's a bunch. There's Ride Your Wave.
Promare I have not seen.
I have it.
Interesting.
We can watch it. Yeah. But this has been fun. I actually didn't expect to learn as much about Shinkai as I feel like I have.
I didn't even know this nigga was married until like 2 movies ago.
Really?
Because we talked about it. After,
you thought this guy would be this fucking romantic and not be booed up, dude? This guy's like...
I know a lot of romantic niggas that aren't booed up, okay? All right?
Some of them, I mean, you got like, what is it? Neil Gaiman's wife cheated on him and then he dumped her or something like that. Sometimes you got shit like that going down.
That's
or
what I'm saying.
Stephen King on his first wife? I don't remember. But I feel like the cocaine broke up a marriage or 2 of his. But this guy's been thinking about love since he was like, that's all this nigga thinks about is love and giant robots.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, definitely. I think that while we're doing like the other stuff, we should watch some type of show as we're going through, because we haven't reviewed a show in a long time.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. But until next time, I suppose.
If you don't know where your giant robot is, we're gonna put a warrant out for your arrest. You have to run up this giant tower to a shrine to save your girlfriend, but you won't get to the shrine. We'll already be there with our giant robots.
If you're not willing to swing on a cop gun drawn. And I have to ask him, do you love your giant robot?
Do you? You may love your giant robot. You don't love him like we do.
I'm not swinging on a cop gun drawn, bro. Not me.
I don't know. It's just this. I bring a certain grabbing the officer's service weapon vibe.
Yeah, girl, I'm a bit of a wild card. You know, sometimes when I'm out on a date, I might surprise you with roses. I might grab a cop's service weapon, see what goes down.